Even after planting more than 200 roses in my rose garden, I still make mistakes. And some of them were big ones. So in today's video, I want to share with you my 5 biggest rose growing mistakes and how you can avoid them. Welcome back. Hi, I'm Sonia, and for those who don't know me, I love roses, classic car, and dream of one day being able to renovate a chateau. I have been growing roses since we moved into this house many years ago, and I've planted more than 200 of roses in my rose garden since that time. They are the most beautiful flowers for me and actually easy to grow. But I also made mistakes, and I want to share these mistakes with you so that you can do it right from the beginning. So let's dive in. I have a wonderful rose that I love a lot, Guirlande d'Amour, great rambler, and I've planted it on 3 spaces in my garden, in the backyard and on 2 obelisks in the front yard. It is so healthy, suitable for shady spaces, and has wonderful bloom. It's so great and wide, and I love it. But one of these roses caused me a headache because it grows through my shutters, and I have to cut the tribes back and guide it back to obelisk. So my mistake was essentially that I did not consider how vigorously this rose will grow and planted it on a wrong space. So if you want to avoid my mistake, consider the growth habit of your rose that you want to plant before you do so, and don't plant any ramblers near your window shutters. I like perennials a lot. I plant them. I love bluebells next to the white roses. They provide them so nice contrast color. Or geraniums, anemonas, lavender in the summer. I also like to plant yew hedge just to define the beds better and make the whole area in my mini English rose garden more tidied. But there was a mistake that I did when planting this area that was not that obvious at the beginning. When you plant the roses and the accompanying plants, usually they are very small. And it was also in my case, I planted in the middle of the ornament wonderful dwarf rose called Verena. Wonderful rose with yellowish white color. But after a year or two, the yew hedge grew higher and higher, and this dwarf rose stayed small. So I had to replant it. And last year, I chose another rose, very nice English shrub rose from David Austin, County Parson, and I had to replant a small Verena in a pot. So the lessons that I've learned from this is that you have to consider the growth habit of the surrounding of the plants that you have around your roses, otherwise they will cover your sweetie. Also, roses sometimes come into age. For standard roses, they may even look kind of strange after many years of pruning, when a frost or disease will deprive you of the major tribes, as it was in my case with a standard rose called Cassie that I had planted in the front yard. It had wonderful, striking pink, purple color, and I really enjoyed over years the wonderful bloom that the rose provided. But this rose in the spring lost major tribes, and it looked kind of strange I like when the standard roses have nice symmetric shape and are kind of tidy. So this rose, I had to do something, and I looked up in literature, you can prune them very strongly, which I did, and I waited. But by the time when other roses were already in full bloom, this rose still did not perform as I wanted it. So I lost my patience and planted it out into a pot and planted another wonderful variety called Mozart at this place. But this rose, few weeks later in the backyard where I put the pot, performed so well. Look at this, how it looked at that time. Beautiful color, beautiful growth and shape. So I've learned from these lessons that you should not give up your old roses too early. Give them a little bit time. Maybe there is a nutrition you can provide to them, or really good pruning, and they may come again and award you with the bloom. When I started to plant roses, I was really a greenhorn. I planted the roses and I loved them from the beginning, and I still love them. And I wanted to protect them against disease and anything that could harm. So when I first saw this small bug on the leaves on the roses, I put it down. I did not even realize how stupid this was. Only later I found out that this is not a bug, but it's a grub of a bug, to be precise, ladybug. And these little animals, they are your allies because they help you with your green flies that really can harm the roses because they eat them. So if you see this ally on your roses, don't make my mistake number 4 and be happy that you have them in your garden. There was a time where we have not had this wonderful rose garden or our house. We only had a balcony. And even at that time, I loved roses, but I never planted them. I always thought, oh, roses are not suitable for balcony, you need a garden to plant them. But I would plant them if I knew what I know now. There's so many varieties that are very suitable for a pot that can be grown. Small dwarf roses or even standard roses are very easy to grow in pot, and you can use them in your balcony or small space that you have. Roses are actually queens of your garden, and it's not an issue or not an option not to plant them. And I did a video on planting a pot roses for those of you who are new here. So these were the 5 biggest mistakes growing roses and what I've learned from them. Maybe you made similar ones. Share it in the comments below. I would love to hear about that. If you could share the wisdom that you already possess, and I know that this community has a lot of rose wisdom already. Thank you for watching, and remember, each little step will bring us one step closer to the garden, the life, or the dreams that we want. I see you next time.